We are finding the area of rectangles and squares with the provided side lengths. Here I have a square with a side length of 3 1/3. Remember, we can multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more makes 10. So this would be 10/3. It's a square, so the other side is also 10/3, giving us an area of 100/9. I don't need you to simplify. You can leave it like that, but if you want to simplify, you can. Go ahead and complete the other 4 problems in your composition book before moving on to the next slide. In class, this will be done as a whiteboard exchange, so we will be holding them up on the whiteboard to check our work, but since this is virtual, we're just going to do them together. The goal is for us to figure out an equation for each of these tables. If we were to divide y by x, we would end up with a constant of proportionality that is equal to 3.25, because anything divided by 1 is itself. But remember, we use this template to write equations. So our equation will say y equals 3.25x. Here, same thing, we're going to divide. 5 divided by 500 can be rewritten as a fraction, or you can reduce that. This is the k value. And in ours, we'll have d equals 1/100 times the number of pennies. In this one, same thing. Pick 2 numbers in a row to divide. 6 divided by 2 seems like the simplest one there, which gives you 3. This is kind of like our x and y values. They just give us different labels. So in the template, the y is going to be replaced with an a. The k is 3. And the x value gets replaced with that letter L. So the area is 3 times the length. Okay. 675 divided by 3. That fits into there twice. 3 fits into 7 twice. And 3 fits into 15 5 times. So our k value is 2.25, and our equation will say y equals 2.25x. $27 divided by 6. You can do this as long division or as a fraction. 6 fits into 27 4 times, because 4 times 6 is 24. Then we need 25, 26, 27, 3 extra out of the 6 that we have. So then we would have 4 1/2 is a way you could reduce that. This would be like our x value and our y value. So it will say c equals 4 1/2 h. The x gets replaced with the h. Keep in mind our template that we're using. Okay. 1 divided by 1/2. We know to flip that and multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. That invisible 1 times 1 is 1. And that reduces to 2. So we have d equals 2h. This is in your workbook. A restaurant called the Irrational Pie provides the pizza toppings shown on the list. Create a recipe for a small pizza from the list of toppings. Your recipe must include a total of exactly 5 cups of toppings, at least 3 different toppings, a fractional amount of at least 2 toppings, and some amount of cheese. So we know for a fact we need cheese. I like a lot of cheese, so I'm going to put 2 cups of cheese. Remember, we have to get to exactly 5. I also like pineapple on my pizza. I know that's controversial. And I'm going to put a third of a cup of pineapple because one of them, actually 2 of them, have to be fractions. I also need some protein on my pizza. So we're going to go with chicken because for whatever reason this pizza place doesn't have pepperoni. What kind of pizza place doesn't have pepperoni? And I'm going to make that be 2/3. So then when I add those together, that creates a whole cup. Plus 2 more. I have 3 cups in all right now. I like onions. So I'm going to use some onions. I'll probably put a half a cup of onions. I also like spinach. So I'll put a cup of spinach. Let's see, I have 2, 3, 4 and a half. And how about some basil? I need another half. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cups. 2 of them, at least 2 of them are fractions. I have at least 3 toppings, and some of it is cheese. All right. Then in part B, it says a large pizza calls for a total of 8 cups of toppings. Calculate the amount of each topping you need to create a large pizza. If the ratio of ingredients remains the same as the recipe you created for your small pizza. So we have to figure out how to create equivalent ratios by changing from 5 cups to 8 cups. So if they are using 8 cups, the ratio or the value of the ratio would be 8/5 because I have to do 8 cups now, but I had 5 cups to start with. So I'm going to multiply all of these values by 8/5. Personally, it doesn't matter to me whether you redo some or change them to mixed numbers. Your teacher might have a different preference. 8 times 2 is 16, so my cheese will say 16/5. 8 times 1 is 8, and 5 times 3 is 15. Eight times 2 is 16. 5 times 3 is 15. Eight times 1 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. Eight fifths times 1 is just 8/5. 8 times 1 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. And now I have converted my small pizza into a large pizza. But it's about to get a little more complicated. The medium pizza calls for 6.5 cups of toppings. Calculate how much of each topping you will need to create a medium pizza with the ratios of ingredients if the ratio of ingredients remain the same as the recipe you created for your small pizza. So I'm going to change these all back to my small pizzas. I had 2 cups, a third a cup, 2/3 of a cup, a half of a cup, 1 cup, and a half a cup. 6.5. That would be 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 more is 13/2. But originally I had 5 cups. Rewriting this here as a multiplication problem, 13 times 1 is 13, and 2 times 5 is 10. So that is the ratio that I am going to multiply all of my values by now to turn it into a medium pizza. All right, 13 times 2 is 26 over 10. 13 times 1 is 13. 3 times 10 is 30. 13 times 2 is 26. 3 times 10 is 30. 13 times 1 is 13. 10 times 2 is 20. 13 tenths times 1 is just 13 tenths. 13 times 1 is 13. 10 times 2 is 20. And like I said, you may reduce or simplify depending on the requests of your teacher. For me, this is an acceptable answer. In question D, it says a customer wants to order a pizza made from the recipe you created for your small pizza, but the customer asks for 4.5 cups of cheese. Determine the amounts of all other ingredients the customer's pizza will have if the ratios of ingredients remain the same as in your recipe. What will the total amount of toppings be? All right, so we are going to figure out 4.5. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we have 9/2. But it was originally, not 5 cups. We're talking about just the cheese. The cheese was 2 cups. We can rewrite that as a multiplication problem by using the reciprocal. 9 times 1 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're going to multiply our ingredients by that to change it to a larger pizza that has 4.5 cups of cheese. Okay, 9 times 2 is 18. So this is 18/4. 9 times 1 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 9 times 2 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. 9 times 1 is 9. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 1 is 9/4. And lastly, 9/8. Now we need to combine them all to figure out the total amount for the toppings. I'm going to start by combining the ones that have the same denominator. So since these both have 12s in the denominator, I'm going to add those ones first. 9 plus 18 is 27/12. Then I have 18/4 and 9/4, which makes 27/4. And 9/8 and 9/8, which makes 18/8. Now to continue adding, I need them to have the same denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on the top and bottom to turn these into 8s. That gives me 18 eighths. Nope, I wrote that wrong. Plus 54 eighths plus 27 twelfths. I can add these together. 50 plus 10 would be 60. 4 plus 8 is 12, so we have 72 eighths. Ooh, the nice thing about that is 8 goes into 72 perfectly. So 72 is 8 times 9. I'm going to erase just to clean up some space here, because I am running out of room. This is 9 plus 27 twelfths. Well, I know 12 goes into 24, so that would be 2. And then to get from 24 to 27, 24, 25, 26, 27, that's an extra 3 twelfths. 9 plus 2 is 11. And 3 twelfths can be reduced to 1/4, or you can leave it as 3 twelfths. So there is 11 1/4 cups of toppings on this pizza. That is a lot of toppings. My ingredients accidentally got erased, but I think this is what I had originally. If you are running out of cheese and you only have a 1/2 cup left for a pizza, determine the amounts of all other ingredients the pizza will have if you keep the ratios of ingredients the same. What will the total amount of toppings be? So we are going to split it up. We had a 1/2 cup, but originally we had 2 cups of cheese. So that is 1/2 times 1/2, because this is going to get flipped over, which means we need 1/4 of all of these ingredients. So we're multiplying by 1/4. All right, 1/4 of 2, that would be 2/4. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 1/4 is just 1/4. 1 times 1 is 1. And 4 times 2 is 8. Like I said, I'm going to try and add up to figure out the total, but using common denominators. It's just simpler that way. Instead of trying to make them all be 12 or 24, we're just going to do the ones that are already like denominators. So 2/4 plus 1/4, that gives me 3/4. 1/8 and 1/8 is 2/8. And 1/12 and 2/12 is 3/12. Okay, now I don't have any common denominators, but they all simplify to 4ths. So I have 3/4. If I split this one in half, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So now I have 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, which is 5/4 cup of ingredients, or 1 1/4 cups. That was a lot of multiplying and dividing by fractions all at once. Make sure you have it written in your workbook and your warm-up completed in your composition book. If you need more time or you need to go back and watch another section again, please feel free to do so, or pause so you can get all of that information down. If you chose other ingredients and different quantities, that's okay. Your answers do not have to be exactly the same as mine. Maybe you don't like pineapple on your pizza, but make sure you follow the directions in the very first part of 1A, to make sure that the rest of them are also correct. All right. See you in the next video.